how you doing today? First off, thanks for watching my video. What I'm going to cover today is I'm going to cover remote start systems. We get a lot of phone calls, how much are remote starts? How much are remote starts? Well, you can't answer that on the phone. By the end of this video, you're going to understand how complex remote starts are and why it just can't be a certain price just shot over the phone. That's a good point right now that I want to make. When you see anybody advertising, a remote start for like $199 installed, it's all a bunch of crap. Those are just loss leaders to try and get you in the store to get you to a real system. There's no remote start out there that you would want for $199. I wouldn't want it in my car. Remote starts are the most complex installation you can have done to your car. The last thing you want to do is buy something cheap when it comes to remote starts. You want the best of the best. You don't want to be stranded up on the mountain. Remember, remote starts are integrating to your system that starts your entire car. You don't want this to fail, and oh my gosh, you don't want somebody trying to install a remote start system that doesn't know what they're doing. Even if you don't buy from me, make sure you go to a qualified store that carries the top of the line stuff, okay? Now there's many brands of remote starts you can choose from. There's only a couple out there that dominate the entire world. The number one brand out there is called Compustar. You're going to see Compustar sweeping the nation when it comes to remote starts. That's what their logo looks like, Compustar. Now, let me talk a little bit about Compustar. Compustar started their company doing remote starts in Alaska. Alaska, can you imagine the terrain and the minus 40, minus 50, minus 60 degree temperatures? Everybody in Alaska wants remote starts. So Compustar started out in Alaska, and now they have swept the entire world with what they've done in regards to remote starts. The reliability, the warranties, the installation, just everything. Let's go back. The company is started by installers. So the installers were the ones who designed these remote starts. Who better would know how to create a remote start than an installer? So let's get started. Sit back. I'm going to show you all the different aspects of remote starts and how complex it can get. As I go through this, it's going to catch you. You're going to go, oh, that's the one I want. So here we go. Now with Compustar, they do it two different ways. Number one, an all-in-one system, and number two, what we're going to call a modular system. The first one I'm going to talk about is the all-in-one system. Basically, these are the least expensive, and they're just all-in-one. You get two remotes and the remote start system all in one box. These are not very expandable, and they're just your basic remote start, okay? The best one that we recommend is the modular system. Now, when I say modular, it means that you're able to build a system, and the expandability is basically limitless to the Compustar line. You can go from just remote start to full-blown every option in the world, starting your car from the phone. So, when you come in and you want a modular remote start system, the first thing we're going to ask you is, how do you want to start the car? I know that's a stupid question, you want to start it from remote, but the first thing is, a lot of people like to use their factory remote. You've got the factory remote. I don't have my car keys, let's just use this. You have your factory remote that arms and disarms your car right now. It locks it. Well, with the Compustar modular system, you can take the basic remote start and we can add that to your factory remote. So all you do is hit lock 3 times. 1, 2, 3, and the car will start. Now, there's pros and cons to adding the remote start to your factory remote. The pros are, of course, you don't have to have 2 remote controls, okay? You just use your factory remote, hit lock 3 times, it starts the car, warms it up, then you go out, unlock, get in your car, drive off, it's nice and warm. Now, the cons of that is that you're relying on your factory remote for range. It doesn't have any two-way communication. It's not going to show you on your factory remote that it's started, which I'll get into in a moment. But you're limited to just the remote of what your remote does right now. So if it reaches, just out to your driveway, that's it. That's what you're going to get. Now, the nice thing about that is after we install this modular Compustar remote start system is that if you go home, you enjoy your remote start, but you want a little more range, you can still add on. You can add on to this system. We can add different remote kits, on and on. So when you come into our store, or right now, as you're sitting there, the first thing we're going to ask you, again, is how you'd like to start it with a remote. You know, whether you want to do it on your factory key fob, or you'd like to use one of Compustar's new key fobs. So the way it works is like this. We're going to show you two boxes. This one here is the remote start module, and then this one here is the remote start module with an alarm. So which one would you like first? Do you want to just remote start, or do you want remote start with an alarm system? After you choose that, then you get to choose your remotes. This is what's so cool about the Compustar system, is everything's interchangeable, okay? So after you pick which module you want, then you choose the features you'd like on the remotes. Now, when we're talking about remote controls, let's first start out by saying one-way or two-way communication. This one right here is a one-way remote. What one-way means is it only transmits to the vehicle, okay? So it'll start it, this one will unlock it without any type of notification. A two-way remote, such as this one right here, this is their top of the line Pro T12, a two-way remote will give you all the notification back on the remote. So when you arm, if you chose the alarm system, when you arm it, it'll show you on the remote that it's armed with some type of notification. You start the vehicle, it'll notify you on the remote that the vehicle is running. Does that make sense? So you have the one-way remotes that are just your basic remotes that'll start the car, arm the alarm, lock it, but you have no notification. The two-way remotes are the ones that will notify you and tell you what's going on with the vehicle. Now, when you come in, remember, you're going to choose which module you want first, a remote start system or remote start with alarm. Then, once you pick that, then you can choose from 20 different remote control packs. They do all sorts of different things for your needs. Like, for instance, this one here is a one-way 1 mile. So this will start your car, arm your car from up to 1 mile away, but it's one way. This one here is a one-way 3,000 feet, so a little over a half a mile. So you get to choose the distance and you get to choose the look of the remote. This one here, two-way. So remember, two-way is going to arm and disarm and start the vehicle, and then it's going to notify you and show you on the screen of this particular remote of what's going on. And are you ready for this? This one's 3 mile, up to 3 mile range. This is the Compustar Pro T12. So I hope that makes sense. I'm just showing you 3 of the remotes. I'm not going to go through all 20 options that we have, but you choose which module you'd like, then you choose your remote pack. It's that simple. Now we're going to talk about what's called the blade, okay? Remember you chose your module at first, right? Well, if you have an older vehicle, usually from the year 2000 and prior, then that's pretty much it. We install these pieces and everything works great. If you have a newer vehicle, a lot of times they need what is called a Blade AL. Look at this. Compustar created a flashable cartridge. Now we have the software here. What we do is if your car requires this Blade AL cartridge, it slides right, of course, right on camera, it slides right in to the module that you chose. After we program it, this module right here links into your computer, and when you hit start, it does so many things so fast. It makes sure that the car is locked. It makes sure that the hood is closed. It makes sure that the doors are closed. It starts all the ignition sequences. Then it starts your car all in a flash of a second. Now, this Blade AL cartridge can only be programmed at our store. Now, the way this works is I plug this into our computer system, it links to Compustar, we type in your car, make, and model, and other characteristics, and then we also program whether it's going to get ignition controlled door locks, which means when you start the vehicle, it'll lock the doors. All the different features are all programmed on this cartridge. So if you have a newer vehicle, you will need this Blade AL cartridge that slides right into the module that you chose. Years ago, this used to be a nightmare. It used to be wires everywhere. Now it's a flashable cartridge. How cool is that? When it comes to some of the newer vehicles, we might have to take a second key from you. Doesn't that sound weird? You have two keys, right, that you get with the car. We might have to take one and put it inside the car. Isn't that crazy? Before we had this module right here, this is called a key wrap module. This module installs with the Compustar system, and what we do is we take one of your program keys, because your key has a little chip inside of it, and the chip inside of your key is telling the car it's okay to start. When you stick that key in, and if it doesn't have the chip, you can turn it and it won't start. Well, same thing with the remote start system. If it doesn't have the key inside the car, see the key, see this loop right here? The key goes inside here and the loop wraps around the key like so. And this is up underneath your dash. So when you hit the remote start button on your Compustar system, the car is looking for that key, and this little guy right here tricks the car into thinking that the key is in the ignition. So be aware, on some Jaguars, some BMWs, some very high-end vehicles, you're going to need this key wrap, and you are going to lose a key. Now, the cool thing about that is you don't have to go to the dealer and buy the key, because you don't need a key that is cut. All you need is the key that's programmed to your car. So you can go to any locksmith and get the key and get it programmed to your car, but you don't need it cut, because we're just putting the key up underneath the dash. Now, it's your choice. You're going to lose a key no matter what. So if you have two keys, now you're only going to have one, because one is up inside the car, okay? So if you don't want to lose a key, then you're going to have to get a copy of the key that is coded to your car. That's it. Before we had this, we couldn't even do remote starts on a lot of high-end vehicles. So yeah, be ready. If you have a really high-end vehicle or a newer vehicle, you might lose a key. A lot of times we get questions, can you do it on my diesel with my glow plugs? 100%. The Compustar system will allow us to program to turn the glow plugs on before it starts. We have all the options with the Compustar, especially when you're using that cartridge that I showed you. We're able to program glow plug time. Any diesel situation that you have, we can do it. Another question is, I have a manual transmission, it's a stick. Can you do a remote start? 100%. All of the Compustar systems will allow us to do it on a manual transmission. So you want to take your remote start to the craziest, highest level? We'll add the drone. It's the Compustar drone. This is a module that will add on to any of the Compustar modular systems. Now, the reason why they call it drone is because, like the drone, the military drones flying in the air, you're monitoring your car anywhere in the world. This hooks your entire system to your smartphone. Talk about awesome. Now, the features on this drone system are absolutely incredible. First off, of course, you can arm, disarm, remote start, anything you'd like to do that the alarm or remote start does with the remote, you can do it right from your phone. But not only that, this tracks your car wherever it's at. You go up on the computer, you can see your car live, you can see the temperature inside your car. Everything is live right on the screen. You can see it. Now, with the drone system, these are real inexpensive to put in. There is a fee. It's about $120 a year for the full monitoring program. About $12 a month. It can be a lot lower if you pay it a year at a time, or 2 years, or 3 years. But we're having a lot of businesses put these in, you know, for employees' cars. They want to see where the car is. It does what's called breadcrumbing too. Remember the story about Hansel and Gretel where they left breadcrumbs to know how to get back out of the forest? They call it breadcrumbing on this. So the main user can go in to the computer system and you can see where your vehicle has been, how long it has been at certain places. It leaves a breadcrumb and a trail of where the car's been the entire time. We have a lot of dads putting these in their kids' vehicles. You have a 16-year-old, you want to know where the car's at. This also does what's called geofencing. Geofencing, you can go onto the computer program at any time and say your son or daughter says they're going to be staying at somebody's house. Okay, all you do is go onto Google Maps inside this program, highlight the house and put a time parameter on it. Say you want to make sure that the car stays there all night. Well, if the car leaves, it automatically sends you an alert right on the phone that 2 in the morning your son or daughter is driving the car. You can do all kinds of other parameters. You can do speed parameters on this. Say you don't want your vehicle going over a certain speed limit. Next thing you know, on your phone, you'll get a text that your son or daughter is going 77 miles per hour on I-205. This stops all that. You know in real time what's going on with your vehicle. What was really cool too is we had one of our customers that had a really nice car, and he was parked, or not parked, he was at a stoplight, and somebody grabbed him out of his car, stole his car, carjacked his car. He was on the side of the road, and the police pulled up, and they go, "What happened?" He goes, handed the police his phone, because he had the drone in his car. The police used his phone, grabbed the guy, arrested the guy. It was all over in a matter of minutes because the drone provided the police with real-time information of exactly where the car was. Now, the drone does not have to be added on to any Compustar alarm or remote start system. It can integrate, or it can be a standalone feature if you'd like. The drone's incredible. Okay, there you have it. I hope you have an understanding about remote starts and how complex they are. So if you call a store and they say, "Oh yeah, 149, 199 installed, run for the hills." You see why? It doesn't work that way. That's like calling a restaurant saying, "How much is your food?" Or a car dealership, "How much are your cars?" It's all over the board. It's something that can't be done over the phone. You come on in and you pick out everything that you want. So let's do a little recap over the whole scenario of remote starts. So the first thing that you have to choose is whether you want to do the remote start on your factory remote or if you want to use one of the new Compustar remotes. Then you choose your module, whether you just want remote start or you want remote start and an alarm system. Then you choose your remote packs. Do you want something that's 1-way, 2-way, 1 mile, 3 mile, something that just gets to your driveway? You choose your remote pack. Next, do you need the Blade AL cartridge or the key wrap? Are you going to lose a key that needs to go up underneath your dash? Next, do you want the drone? Do you want to monitor your car and start it all with your phone? That's it. Once you've chosen everything, guess what? We can do it right now. Come on down. We'll lay it all out. This is something that cannot be done on the phone, okay? It's something that you need to see visually, like a restaurant menu. You know, do you want the drinks? Do you want the appetizer? Do you want the entree? Do you want the dessert? Or do you just want a burger? Come on down. We can do it today. I hope this helps somebody. Make sure you subscribe to my new YouTube channel. This is going to be crazy, and I want you guys to be part of it. Thanks, guys.